Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fashion Files podcast with me, your host, Jelena. That feels so weird to say for the first time. I've been sort of working on the idea for this podcast and figuring it out for probably the past few months now. It's been a long time coming, and it feels so weird to finally introduce myself and do the first little episode. So, this first episode is basically going to serve as an introduction to me, your host, and also to the podcast, sort of what to expect, when I'll be posting new episodes, future topics, all the good stuff. So, let's get right into it. So, as I mentioned before, my name is Jelena. That I typically get asked so many times when I introduce myself to people, pronunciation, all of that. It's sort of a difficult name, but once you get the pronunciation, you've got it. So I always sort of tell people it's like Angelina, but without the "and." That's sort of the best way for me to tell people. So then moving into sort of more about me, I am currently a senior in college. It's technically my third year, but I'm graduating a year early. I'm studying business management, media communications, and I'm also pursuing a concentration in photography. So I've sort of always been really interested in the fashion industry. When I was really young, my mom had her own small business in the fashion industry, and I was constantly at shows with her, and I would have this little camera that I took with me literally everywhere to every show, and I thought of myself as a little photographer, I guess a little fashion photographer at the time. So I feel like that's sort of what really inspired my love for fashion photography and photography in general. Then sort of moving as I got a little bit older, I started my own fashion blog probably around the time of graduating from 8th grade, and then it went with me through my junior year of high school. Through that blog, I did a lot of fashion content, lifestyle content. I got to do some work with local businesses and local fashion shows, local fashion week. I actually got to meet Iris Apfel during the local fashion week that I participated in one year. That was the big highlight of my year. So I stopped doing fashion blogging my junior year of high school. It just sort of wasn't fulfilling me anymore. I didn't feel like it was really fulfilling, and I didn't really feel like I wanted to go anywhere else with it. So that's sort of where that ended. I also have experience in public relations, marketing, social media marketing, all of that good stuff. I love that sort of thing. So after graduation this year, I feel like that is the hot question I'm getting. What am I going to do after graduation? I'm sort of not really sure yet. And I'm typically a person that I love having a plan, but I'm sort of enjoying right now not having a plan. It's still quite a ways away. So much can change in the world. Obviously, over the past few months, so much has changed. So I feel like right now it's probably best for me not to make a plan. But I'm definitely interested in getting my master's in luxury business management. My end goal is to be working in the luxury fashion industry in Paris or Milan or London. I'm in the US right now, and I just feel like I am being called to Europe. And so that is the end goal. So eventually, hopefully, this podcast will get to sort of follow along with the fashion industry, but also sort of with me, and get to take you guys along and see sort of my path and where I end up going. And then moving into sort of what to expect from the podcast. So I'm going to have new episodes every Monday, and we're going to sort of navigate the intricacies of the fashion industry together. I really want to get a lot of interviews with industry professionals on all things fashion, personal stories, and literally so much more. I'm so excited to start this. And if there's anything you want to specifically ask me to talk about, or if there's a specific guest you want me to try and get on the podcast, definitely feel free to reach out to me. And also, feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It is just the Fashion Files Podcast on Instagram and the Fashion Files Pod on Twitter. And that's it. Definitely feel free to give me lots of thoughts on this. Let me know what future guests you want to see, future topics. Definitely, I would love all the feedback I can get. And thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited to see where this podcast takes us.